I mean, to be fair, they didn't have a way to take objectives that game, and this time they have a tiny, which is pretty hype.
Well, I don't want to on. I want to on Nigma.
Oh, you want a Nigma?
Yeah.
What?
Can we actually just circle back to the techies here? I feel like we actually didn't touch on it at all.
Well, I went, oh my god, techies, but then Fear kept talking.
I don't like talking about techies.
Techies! Well, then you don't have to fear. Sheep's gonna do the talking about techies.
Oh my gosh! So I feel like Techies is a hero that's getting a lot of hype, and people are talking about it and thinking about it. But the problem is, not everyone wants to play it. You know, we had that post-game interview, whose name I can't forget, who said, well, "Yeah, I'm not playing it." Like, we tried it, we scrimmed with it, we didn't like it. And yeah, some teams do like it. I think the amount of damage this hero can output is insane. If you get the blast off with the shard stun, you're able to lay down like 2 red mines during that. And it's like it's just extreme like damage numbers. The hero is cool, very unexplored. I'm happy to see it more in Pro, though.
Yeah, I'm keen to see what it's able to enable for the rest of the Nigma Galaxy lineup when we see it. But, you know, Fia, I won't make you talk about techies, so instead you can talk me through the Tusk and the Omni Knight.
Well, Tusk is a stun, but it's not a good stun for Storm, so it's a bit unexpected there. Omni Knight, they're just buffing up their tiny even more. They've got Omni, IO. It's probably going to be an off-lane Omni, I guess.
Jabs has played offlane Tusk before.
Tusk is going offlane?
Probably.
It just doesn't look like a great Tusk game. Like, you're picking it blind. So, okay, so they're probably going to do IO Tusk, right? In the offlane with Omni 5 and supporting the Tiny. So, Tiny, if he does get a lot of farm this game, is going to have, like, a ton of steroids pumped into him. And he's going to be very, very strong. And I don't see the damage right now. Even, as you say, this Techies does a lot of damage. It probably still will not be enough to kill this Tiny that it is repelled. He's going to be incredibly tanky, and like no matter how many times they change Techie's abilities, I can't look at that hero until they change his face. That's the next rework they need, in a new remodel.
Damn! You really don't like Techie.
I love him visually, he's so cute.
I've got a long history of hating that hero. I think a lot of Dota players do.
Didn't y'all win TI with it?
Yeah, but...
be grateful, you animal!
I felt dirty after that one, though. We'll take it. And Pango as well. Like, I think right now that Fnatic has some stun issues, but normally I say that, but like Tiny just rolls up and like one-shots heroes sometimes, and you're like, oh, that's all the stun we need. This one's stun toss, but that's really going to come down to him getting farmed. They're putting all the eggs in their Tiny here. The tiny basket, as we'll call it.
Love that basket.
A rock basket. And even less stuns, and even more cheese. So,
holy god, they're walking it down mid at like 15 minutes with an Aegis, man.
So Fnatic's lineup has a lot of heal, a lot of push potential, and are very, very tanky. So they need like incredible damage here. I'd like to see like a Viper, I think. A Viper could be pretty cool here.
Yep.
An Enigma. I don't know. Like, we need a lot of damage, and we need percentage-based damage here.
To carry though as well. Like, carry Viper feels bad.
I mean, you're playing versus Huskar, Omni, IO. You ain't picking a carry here.
Yeah.
I really don't think so. I think you just gotta pick some damage here. That's my opinion. Do carry Pango, for all I care.
What are some other damage heroes that you think could work quite well here, or are you really, really in favor of this Viper?
I'm just thinking, like, what can they pick to win the game? And, like, only thing that's coming to my head is, like, Enigma and Viper, sadly. Like, there's no carry hero that I'm like, oh, that's the hero to pick this game.
Carry Lena.
They gotta pick something that can stop their base dying at 20 minutes.
Gosh.
That's what they really need. And they need a lot of damage.
What's up there?
I mean...
It's a good idea.
Yeah?
It is damage.
Well.
I mean...
Maybe they can yoink it from Fnatic.
It has potential. I don't hate it.
Alright. Potential for the Ursa, potential for Nigma Galaxy. But GoDz and Ares jump in here because GoDz, reaction to the techies being picked up here and the rest of Nigma Galaxy's lineup.
I got no idea. We got techies, we got Huskars. Should be fun.
It felt so normal how it started off with the IO Tiny Grim Storm, and then just the rest of it, I don't even know where it came from, Ares.
I really have no idea what's going on. Honestly, these are some crazy heroes. I'm just excited. We get a game 2, hopefully game 3 with the techies, which, like we said in, I think there was a previous interview. Son said they're not going to play the techies. They've experimented. They don't want to play it. Sheep brought it up, so at least we get to see Polison at least experimenting with it. So who knows what's going to happen?
Do you think this is going to be a successful techies experiment? Do you have faith in Nigma?
Terrified for Nigma, and I wish them the best of luck.
So you're going for the Fnatic. You're going for the run it down at 20 minutes.
What if they fail to run it down? Nigma will win.
No,
Maybe.
you got to pick.
But
one.
I'll go with Fnatic.
All right.
I mean, this techies is going to make or break this game because this is the only hero that's X Factor for me. I think they're going to lose every lane right now if this techies doesn't own.
I'm looking forward to it, but Aries and GoDz, please take it away for game 2.
Honestly, Parker, I'm a little bit worried. This is the one game that I really feel out of my comfort. We've got a techies. I've not seen this hero. I had to go back really quick when the hero is picked and look at his ability names. I have not seen him yet since the new change. So, we got that. We got a Husker IO, Omni Knight strat. This is all in Fnatic on just heal, Death Ball, end the game. And then Nigma.SEA, they're like, we're down a game. Let's just throw in this crazy techies pick and hope for the best.
Oh, absolutely. I think techies is this hero. Obviously, the panel mentioned I think it was Miposhka 5-position tier list. He was pretty high up there. I've seen the hero emerge quite a bit in pubs. It's definitely been on the rise there, and not plaguing pubs like it perhaps used to, since the spells and the hero just is kind of different to what it used to be. But then on the other side, you've got the Huskar. So it's if anything, most of the cheese is on the Fnatic side. Like, I don't think techies is this like super cheesy pick like it used to be, but we'll get more of that later. This is a 5v5 full-on brawl in the mid lane. This doesn't look like Dota. You're playing some like hero brawler.
Operation Keep the Observer Alive. Unfortunately, there's already a essential job, so.
They're like, do we deny this? Getting at least a deny range is usually valued.
I don't know, man. How does Alacrity even play this lane into the Huskar? This seems like a very difficult time, and I think you're off the back of the jungle now. I feel like you're just going to be spending a lot of your time by the small camp.
Definitely. I think that's where they probably want to protect that small camp. You see Radiant with that high ground ward is already positioned to scout that dire small camp over on the right side of this mid tier 1 tower. So it's going to be tricky for Storm. I think he's probably hitting up the jungle, like you say, pre-level 6. He's going to be asking for supports to come help out his lane as soon as he hits 6 because he's going to want to kill Armel. But at least the first couple levels, I think it's okay. I think it's at level 3 to 5 stage where the lane gets really tricky.
Seems like concerns for me for Nigma.SEA is going to be how they can at least survive their lanes, because a lot of them look very grim. And I'm also very concerned if they're actually going to lack damage or not, considering you've got a tanky Huskar, a tanky Tiny, you've got Omni IO for the sustain, Tusk potential for a snowball save. I'm concerned.
Yeah, I think for now, if you're at NGX, you're like, let's focus some more about the lanes. Like their lane, like this techies, they can come out on top potentially. Yeah, exactly. They've got the heroes they've got. They're gonna have to deal with some of those problems as they pop up. But particularly like Tiny Omni, like that's not a very scary lane. They can get a bit out of that lane. Maybe they can't kill Tiny because of the Omni backing him up, but at least it's a lane where you should be able to see Mizu get a good amount of farm. He can come online early and start making some rotations and plays with that early Rolling Thunder. So I think the pressure is just on Nigma.SEA to make those rotations and moves, and they can't just sit back and passively farm because that's definitely not what Fnatic are doing this game.
And you feel like for Nigma.SEA, that's all on Mizu to be the playmaker?
Mizu, I mean, Alacrity too. The issue is Alacrity is going to be behind on farm, so he's just going to be a bit more limited in his playmaking capabilities. But yeah, I would say primarily Mizu, like playing around these supports early on. Once he has Rolling Thunder, you want to get that early Aegis ideally on your Ursa. Something both teams are going to be contesting since you've got Husker on one side, Ursa on the other. But I just don't think anybody is going to be sitting back and trying to farm it up. Like last game we had AM Dusa. This game we have like no hard late game carries.
Which is difficult for Nigma.SEA, as being on the dire side and having your lineup revolve heavily around Roshan is always going to be a little bit of a disadvantage.
Yep. So we'll see who ends up getting that first Roshan, since it will be probably top priority for both. Nice job by Yokam to pull these waves here, but Januel just following him through this one. Making sure he can test some of this experience under the tower. Oh man, Storm getting very low mid though. This is the new Husker build. You don't need those Burning Spears early. The Inner Fire just does so much level 1 damage with the 100 base damage.
Keeping tabs on top lane as well with Polison. The goddamn sticky bomb. I'm gonna have to say it a couple times. Sticky bomb, sticky bomb, sticky bomb.
You got it.
Oh, they denied it. No. So what's the play here? In your dream, it's not going to go for like an aggressive lane build, no orb or anything like that. So it is a bit awkward to get the blast off guaranteed without a stun. I guess maybe Earthshock you could play off.
Yeah, he's trying to use those sticky bombs to harass, but not really getting too much out of it. I think it's not the ideal lane partner for a Techies. You know, you look at the previous patch with Techies in the lane, you wanted to play around the stun. Like we saw like Wraith King with Techies, we saw these Marses, these heroes that can set up a blast off with some kind of a stun feel really good in lane. And it's still the same case with this Techies even with the blast off being what it is now.
Start to get a little bit aggressive. In your dream, stuck in the shards, Polison. Not use the blast off just yet, and In Your Dream's getting pummeled. They need some way to give him some space, and that's where the blast off comes into play.
Got a salve on Fnatic, so you know you get the 2-for-1 salve action. NGX won't be thrilled with that exchange.
What's going on with
mid lane?
Genuel?
Oh boy, mid lane by the way, 13 denies on Huskar. Oh, 14. He's having a field day. Storm, his CS looks even, but a lot of that is jungle camp, which is not.
Are you going for
not
this?
The same.
Alacrity. I don't know if you win this man fight. I was just chilling. So at 2 points in the Berserker's blood. More than happy to trade.
Yeah. And that's the other, you know, it's the surprise factor is going to give Armel an edge in this mid matchup at 2, because I very much doubt Alacrity's played much Storm versus Husker mid. Sure, he plays a ton of pub games, and he's probably run into the matchup a couple times, but it's not like you know, there's some matchups that players play all the time. Like, you know, your Quap versus Embers, your Embers versus Storms, your DKs versus your Pucks. You play all these heroes against each other constantly. Husker versus Storm, probably
playing in your
5 games.
Actually, a little bit of, oh, nice snowball dodge. Great level from Jabs, the 1-1-1 to dodge the blast off, and there you go. We saw that was the deterrent prior. So Fnatic weren't able to get the kill on the Ursa before, but now with Jabs having level 3, they could do just that.
All right, Storm is committed to the jungle. He's abandoned any hope of laning mid, leaving it to the support, and that support, Yokam, is getting chased around by an Omni Knight, so not the happiest time for him.
Even Yokam can't step up and get experience.
Once this Husker hits 6, I don't know if anyone can stick around.
Did they get Genuel? Actually, this is pretty big, although Alacrity might not have the damage.
Heavenly Grace, he's just tanky as hell.
Well, I tried.
Like you said, Storm Spirit's going to be playing from behind, so this is going to be all on Mizu to make these early plays off the back of the Rolling Thunder, and he's having a pretty decent lane.
Yep. He's the, if anything, yeah, the one having the best lane, and I guess that's kind of the expectation when you're, you know, Tiny's not going to contest you too much. He might deny a decent chunk, but you know, Mizu needs to hit that level 6 and at least either have his teammates rotate to him or he needs to rotate to them. He can't just play this passive, let's just farm my lane and worry, you know, prioritize getting a fast blink dagger. He needs to make stuff happen before then.
I think for me, through the early timing that I'm looking for is just going to be the level 6 on Alacrity, which is a little bit away, closing on level 5, but I'd like to see him put emphasis on rotating to top early just to secure the Ursa. I think you've got to do one lane. I think Pango is a lane you can't gank to. Top lane with the techies in Ursa and, you know, get kills under your belt. That's something we see Arbet do a lot in North America, where he just, you know, jungles, gets his level 6, and then TPs instantly to one of the side lane.
6-man rune coming up. Only goes for a top, but it's going to spawn bottom, and this Storm's not level 6. If he gets hit by Light Break, he just TPs out. He's like, yeah, this is not going how I want it to.
We might also be able to get the rune, but Armel is speedy. Have they got a sentry? Have they got anything? Oh, wait, oh, it got denied. Never mind. Oh, okay. I was waiting for him to go invis and then... Oh, no, it got denied. Armel, beautifully done. That was the help of the Iron tether movement speed.
No sticky bomb. Armel should be able to tank through this. Yeah, he's even got the Heavenly Grace, which is being maxed out. All this bonus strength that's going to be coming in to even further buff up the Husker with his Berserker's Blood.
And it's also, they have a tiny carry as well, so another strength core that's going to get so much out of the Heavenly Grace. This is something that we were seeing like a couple of patches ago. I think it was really the Omni Sven with that strength pairing. And I've been a little bit surprised that we haven't gotten it as much, considering how goddamn broken Tiny is at the moment and how people are valuing the Omni Knight too.
Yeah. The hero's weakness really is just that laning stage. You feel like you're kind of this useless sack that just leeches experience and doesn't do a whole lot. But if you can find a way to make the lane work and then come online in the mid game, you're just like this sit behind your carry and keep buffing them up. It's different kind of like, not the old repel of old, but it's, you know, similar concept where you just really make your carry this absolute unkillable beast.
So it's seeming like this game is the ideal game then. You know, Genuel was kind of a sack in the lane, and now he's been able to leave and soak experience mid, and their bottom lane didn't go bad at all. In fact, Tiny's second in net worth.
Yeah, and that's where, like you say, pairing it with something like a Tiny makes sense, because Tiny's a pretty solid laner, but he is getting gone on, gets bailed out by that Omni Knight, and Mizu, that first Rolling Thunder, unfortunately doesn't convert. He really wanted to, because he's gone for this fast earn. He wants those earn charges ASAP. That's really going to enable his mid-game playmaking.
And I was speaking about that rotation from Alacrity top, but unfortunately Fnatic already aware of this. Oh, Mizu, swashbuckle up in a couple of seconds. Be able to get enough distance. Now back up to the top jungle. It's going to be Jabs that finds Alacrity, and now eyeing up Polison, but he's already used a lot of his damage to kill off the Storm Spirit.
I think Mizu was like TPing, he was TPing somewhere. I want to say mid to defend, but Tiny just was right next to him with both his spells up, like, right after he decided his TP. So mid tier 1 goes down. He doesn't dive on him, but they're looking for more kills mid. Not going to be able to get on top of him though. Armel with Armlet up already. Oh boy, this is a problem.
So, of course, it's known the Ursa, we said it earlier, but heavily relies on Roshan. What do you do this game though? Because Husker also relies on Roshan, and he is about 1,300 high in net worth, and I don't think Ursa's going to be ready to contest Rosh at probably 13 minutes.
Yeah, I'm not sure there's a whole lot you can do necessarily. This Husker's going to be so far ahead, and with like the double heals backing him up, like he's going to be at least early to mid game the prime Heavenly Grace target, just because all the bonus strength, and he gets bonus strength and HP regen from Heavenly Grace, which then converts to more strength regen from Berserker's Blood. Like, the synergy between the Husker Omni is just absurd, and like I don't see a way they fight into Husker once this Omni gets some more levels.
So do you feel like Nigma Galaxy, do they have ways to then really split Fnatic up and try and get this game going as late as possible to where they can maybe hit some item timings?
Yeah, I think they're going to be wanting to look for those pickoffs in the side lanes, like get these small little single kills here and there while farming as much as they can in their jungle. They definitely, you know, they can't take those 5-on-5 fights. It's kind of like this, let's just stay away from Husker. Reminds me of like the old, you know, the enemy picks a Timbus off lane, you have no answer to it. The best thing you can do is just avoid it and play elsewhere on the map. So, you know, I imagine if they see Husker, unless he's completely alone and they're smoke ganking him, they're just going to run the other direction, which is kind of what they're doing now. They're smoking bottom, Raven a much better target. They want to kill him and try to get this bottom tower.
They do have the relocate potential, and of course close to a tier 1. They're going to start with the Inkspell combination. Instantly, Rainbow TP's down to bot. Is Raven tanky enough? Not going to be killed off just yet. Io, Tether still on cooldown. They will not have a way to be able to keep the Tiny alive, as Mizu actually bounces back to disrupt any follow-up. But they've even brought in your dream to bottom. Oscar isn't even thinking about joining all the lads, so the relocate back out to safety puts Genuel as the sacrificial lamb. As Nigma Galaxy, alright, yeah, that's what you gotta do. You utilize your plays, get a couple of kills, get some map control, and now maybe you can open up the map to have another opportunity to get these pickoffs.
Yeah. I think they had a pretty good idea of where Husker was on the map at the Ancients. Like, he could have TP'd in there, theoretically, but...
Parker, they're
They just
actually
played it
defending
well.
top. Look at this. Instant start. Jabs is nearby, so he can play off the back of the snowball. Yokem is the ink spot timing going to be on the mark. Armel jukes to the right side to play around with Jabs, but it doesn't even matter as Armel pops to the magic damage and Alacrity's over to DJ and the Storm Spirit. A much needed triple kill. He had such a horrible lane, but now, Parker, like you said, they might be back.
They're clawing their way back in. The rotation bottom started all of it. You just play the numbers game. We're going to bring our entire team, punish this time. Like, they killed the Tiny nice and fast, so even when the relocate comes in, they still have a numbers advantage when all of Fnatic, except Husker, show up. And then they quickly, before those heroes respawn are in position, they rotate to defend top. So just very fast and, like, confident movements from NGX, catching Fnatic by surprise.
Which is huge, because now it puts you closer to Diffusal and Ursa. And I think just more importantly, it puts everyone closer to a timing where they could contest this first Roshan when Fnatic are geared up to go. Alright, Spirit Vessel. He's got 4 charges. That's exactly what you need for these tanky heroes.
Yeah.
Smoked up.
Nice and early, too.
Position from Jabs.
Yeah, good positioning. Pops the smoke and may turn it. Or just be a
Charges up the
sacrifice.
ulti. Look,
He's
how
out.
far? They didn't go too far.
Just relocate out.
So they're still nearby, but that's Rolling Thunder on cooldown, which is the important one.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
And while all this is going on in your dream, you're just gonna need some me time bottom. So yeah, we'll be very close to the Diffusal Blade, level 9 on the Ursa, and he's done a decent job to be able to catch up in net worth.
Yeah, and just making sure, you know, he's going for these early cost-effective items, like even picking up the casual Wraith Band, treads, going into Diffusal Phase Boots, knows that he needs to be ready to fight as early as possible. Like, there's no room for greed in a game where you're playing against a Huskar. Even though that Tiny's this hero that's maybe going to be slower paced and looking to farm for late game, Ursa cannot scale into the late game against this Fnatic draft.
Radiant's middle tower.
What was your opinion about the Witchblade in game 1? Could you not really get too much of a read on it just because Storm was in
On
a
the
pretty
Storm?
tricky matchup? Yeah.
I thought it's okay. Like, it just seems like very efficient damage. Like, the cost you pay for it, it's doing the same build-up into the BKB. The impression I get is that, you know, rushing BKB on Storm doesn't feel great, so you want to get something that gives you damage so you can make plays early on. And, you know, any other item costs too much. The Orchid or Kaya Sands, whatever it may be.
Yeah, I just wasn't sure if your opinion had changed too much from game 1 to game 2 with the performance that we saw from it.
I personally think it's fine. Like, the Storm actually benefits from the attack speed quite a lot because you want to keep getting those overload proc charges off when you're ganking. Like, you want to get one after your Vortex and after your Remnant.
Radiant are scanning.
So the attack speed just means you can kind of combo your damage output just better.
Still concerns are going to be Armel's BKB timing, which is shortly completed. That would be go time for Fnatic.
I wonder if they're going to try and make their way into the Roshan pit. There are Techies proximity mines to worry about, so one of the benefits of this Techies will be that scouting potential.
I really like this build from Raven. We're seeing the issues that Fnatic have of kind of starting fights with no instant gap close, especially because Jabs is going BKB first item. So now that Raven has Blink, it's going to be, you know, perfect synergy with the BKB on Husker. So yeah, they're 100% ready to go.
Yeah, usually the carry Tiny is all more about the Shadow Blade and the Silver Edge, but I think Raven recognizing that their team's, you know, his teammates' timing is in the early game. Like, you've got a BKB and Husker who's ready to fight. He wants to make sure he has something that can contribute now and cover for the lack of pick-off on their team, because that's something, you know, usually your mid-spirit type heroes, your Invokers, Pucks, etc. have that catch. Husker doesn't, so Tiny's going to make up for it.
Oh, no way. They're actually going to try and sink this before Fnatic gets it up, but they're smoking straight to the area.
This looks bad.
They want to try and steal it themselves. Armel posturing. And the lead inside the pit, of course, he's got the BKB, but an early usage there. They're stun out and they just blow up. Punching Alacrity up to the skies as now Mizu Still taking a decent amount of damage during the Rolling Thunder, but I don't know how Nigma.SEA can defend the pit now as Mizu gets caught out. A perfect placement in the shards. And your dream, we're still thinking about going back here, but it's going to be Raven over the cliff line. Avalanche and combo onto 3 is in your dream, hoping and a prayer for a TP, and he does escape. But a 4-for-0 and soon to be Roche as well.
Yeah, that's... maybe they just didn't know that Husker BKB timing was coming out, not to mention tiny blink. Fnatic were on top of the Roche control, and they're going to be the ones who claim it themselves. That would have been the perfect position for NGX.SEA to be in if they'd managed to get Roshan, get out of there, not finding the BKB, but Fnatic was just too quick to punish it.
Like we always speak about, Ursa, you need Roshan. You need them as best as possible to be able to just play aggressive like this hero relies on. And well, Husker also fulfills this similar role, and now Armor having Aegis should give them a big window to take all the objectives that they would desire.
We'll see them go for this top tier 2 tower first. Probably look to, you know, take out post control, cut off the map, and just try and out farm NGX.SEA. Well, not sure. I mean, they have tiny, so going high ground always
Raven's
a possibility.
Trying to eye up Alacrity.
Yeah.
Look at the relocate. Nice setup from Raven. He needs the full control out of the toss. Unfortunately, still it's not enough. A little bit too late with the relocate, so Alacrity can zip away.
Yeah, it's a tricky one. He even held the toss till the very end of Avalanche to try and chain stun it as best as possible, but they just couldn't get the Walrus punch off.
Back to top they go. Like, all right, we can't get the kill. Let's keep trying to get some map control and just really limit Nigma.SEA on their territory.
Yeah, Fnatic, you know, unconventionally have a lot of vision in their own jungle down bottom, which they're using to try and punish the fact that NGX are trying to get farm there. So Rolling Thunder mid, they want Raven.
Thunder onto the Tiny. Alacrity's got the follow-up as well. The damage enough before the TPs. They know the relocate was on cooldown, so they were just playing off the teleports. Alacrity still getting hunted, but Jabs doesn't have the follow-up, so he's going to be cautious too. The Spirit Vessel starting to tick him down as Mizu not enough with the swashbuckle. But Nigma.SEA, you're fighting to the Husker with the Aegis advantage, or you can't stand your ground. You'll get a kill on the Tusk while you're escaping, so a 2-for-1 and you'll take the trade.
That's another Husker BKB usage down to 7 seconds, so we're almost already at that minimum duration, which is going to make fighting into him that little bit easier. Just really good read from Nigma.SEA, finding the Tiny alone in the mid lane, knowing there's no relocate, so they can burst him down quickly and only have to worry about a couple of TPs coming in. Even though the Storm dies in the process, I think they'll be pretty happy overall with that outcome.
I'm quite surprised at how even a net worth it actually is. It felt like Fnatic have really had the advantage for majority of this game, but it seems like it's not showing in regards to the economic lead.
Yeah. And like when you see the net worth, you're like, yeah, looks like they're ahead. Their 2 cores are on top. Husker's way ahead, but looks like the supports are where we see NGX just getting a lot more farm because they're using their supports to push out lanes a bit more. Pelosin's doing pesky stuff mid with the mines. But I think Fnatic are maybe slightly more ahead than the gold lead suggests, just because of where the farm is allocated and just how strong some of their cores currently are. Like a super underfarmed Omni, you get everything. Like if this Omni had 4k net worth, he's still doing more or less the same thing as his 2.5k net worth Omni. He's just not a hero that benefits from items or ever really farms them.
Okay, because my next call, that is Fnatic. Taking back to tier 1. Wilson's going to actually have to use the blast off to get out. Shard's not really helping them too much, but there's a little crack that can squeeze on through. So yeah, my question was going to be like, do you feel like the net worth in regards to the supports can help Nigma.SEA in regards to their items, or do you just feel like this is kind of empty net worth that doesn't offer too much?
It helps. Like this techie shard is really nice. Extra range plus the stun on blast off. Grimstark also going for the shard, so you know, with a Philosopher's Stone, Glimmer Cape, like these are items which will make a difference in fights potentially. I think particularly these shards upgrades feel really nice. These are both 2 heroes that have very good shard upgrades, so you know, it's definitely not empty network.
Radiant's middle tower.
Speaking a lot about Radiant and IO's lineups always rely on pickoff, and that's kind of where the tiny blink is able to come into play. But they always have this potential now, like you just mentioned. I mean, Techie Shard is a great way to set up for like a Storm follow-up, or you can rely on Mizu to start with Blink Rolling Thunder. But it's just the cat and mouse game at the moment from Nigma Galaxy.SEA.
Radiant structures
You're not
are fortified.
want to fight this Husker, who now has an Aghanim Scepter, so the
Dire's
taunt,
bottom tower has fallen.
3-second duration, you just gotta fight this Huskar. And that is gonna be something problematic for anybody who gets caught by it.
Yeah, and going late game versus Husker is not easy. It's lane Raven has jabs nearby, so with the extra tag team damage that can actually stand their ground and kill Mizu before any threat of the Rolling Thunder. Now look at the relocate towards the backline. It's Armel. Life Drain out, focusing Yoricam as the Glim Cape's going to give In Your Dream a little bit of breathing room, but he pops out straight into the grasping hands of Fnatic, as now they can use all this attention to turn to Paulson, who doesn't even make it as well. Another send up into the heavens. A 4-0.
Only the Storm left standing. Just so hard to kill any of these Fnatic heroes. Like, I think you have to prioritize heroes like the Omni Knight and the IO, the backline healing supports, but the IO particularly is just very hard to address because he's always going to be next to his core, so he's protected, has the mech, glimmer, stick charges. Just, he's tanky. And you initiate it on the backline, suddenly you're in really deep, and not everyone can, like, chase into the backlines. Like, this Ursa, just can't get to the backlines. It's going to be, like, Storm and Pengo alone going in, so that exposes your Ursa if you're suddenly, like, ditching him to go diving in to kill these supports.
Has fallen.
Which it's also an Ursa without BKB. So it's just a little bit difficult for him to not get kited through these fights. And of course, it's also a lot of damage from the Burning Spear once they start to add up. And even maybe just the inner fire. So I think this is really the big item that you're looking for especially In Your Dream, to have some form of a game. Because currently he hasn't been able to have too much impact.
Well, we'll see if how much it's going to change with this BKB. Next Roshan in the next 1 to 4 minutes, but they're smoking right into this jungle. See what they can find.
Great blink into the tree line. We'll run into Yoricam, but they are pretty deep next to the T2 tower. Soulbind's going to be able to hold back the Husker, so he can't get in a position to protect jabs. And Armel still under the T2 tower, has plenty to blow up the Storm Spirit. But In Your Dream, there's that BKB timing we're asking for. Armel, his run out, but an instant relocate out to safety. That was the return. Means that the Husker's going to be okay, but Raven, he's wanting to blink in and put his own statement onto the fight. Good combo into a BKB TP out will mean he'll be okay.
Not the worst fight for Nigma Galaxy. They do have to buy back that Grimstroke. I think at least as far as clawing, back, getting a bit of XP here and there on some key targets, it's okay, but losing the Storm pretty costly. And I feel like ultimately they are going to start to get a little bit concerned about Alacrity's ability to kind of scale if he's dying in these fights like this, but he is still in a pretty okay position as far as his net worth goes. Top lane there. Techi's kill his eye, has the Glimmer.
I don't think so. Especially not now with jabs here.
That trick won the great brawl at the White Fields.
Well,
Tried.
Techies, what a hero. I don't know. It's like, do we like seeing the hero lose? Or I guess in Fizz case, he'd be loving this right now.
It's a new Techies. I feel like I'm learning watching because this is my first competitive game watching Techies. I've just seen it in various, pubs and stuff, particularly in some of the pro level pubs. It's becoming more popular, but I see situations like that. I was like, can Techies kill this guy? He seems to think he can, and then, he gets turned on, so.
They seem to think they can kill Armel. They have the Lord on the higher gun.
Okay.
So they know that the rest of the heroes are a little bit split, and with your Ursa Swipe stacking up, In Your Dream, they're going to try and net this into another kill. The Rolling Thunder soon to expire. Great recognition from Alacrity. They have to take the IO out of the equation, but they don't have the damage. The DJ flies to the north. An instant fall, but the Pain Glee doesn't have it in the tank, but it does also leave the Omni Knight vulnerable.
That was just perfect. They recognize Husker's alone. He's thinking he's safe because of the BKB, but, any good Pangolier player knows the areas of the map where you can change someone, and that ramp in the mid lane is one of the best ones because you can just bounce back and forth, and perfectly done by Mizu to bring him down. Unfortunately for Dire, no quick Roche respawn. They would have loved a fast Roche here. They could have maybe snagged it quickly with the Ursa. Instead, Husker and Omni Knight are going to respawn before Roshan is even back up, so it does
They're
mean
setting up
Fnatic-
top.
Yeah, okay.
Raven has jabs this time, so the extra control will net them a kill. No, it's only Grimstroke nearby. Okay, beautifully done. Jabs and Raven, the duo.
Radiant's
Sorry,
bottom tower is under attack.
Nice find on the Storm, buying more time for your cores to respawn, and they're going to be hitting up this Roshan pit maybe at the perfect time here. Ice shards come in. I might scout the respawn. No.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
So we'll see if Fnatic get eyes on Roche soon, because they have a 20-second window without Storm.
Might run into Raven. It looks like he's going to be okay. Which is, like you said, it's scary though. Rolling Thunder inside a pit is always a tricky fight for the opposition. But Radiant are goddamn tanky, and we saw kind of the only opportunity they had was when Husker wasn't next to his two saving supports. He's still going to try and charge up. Finding the eye, but a great snowball save. It's going to put them in quite the compromised position though. So maybe it doesn't really help the eye. It was instantly Nigma GoDz. They pounce on this one opportunity.
Maybe use BKB on jabs. So reinitiating here, still possible with the Raven Armel BKBs, but Fnatic definitely want to fight near their vision. They also want to keep Nigma Galaxy out of this Roshan pit. They're down an Io, which makes this fight potentially a little bit trickier. In Your Dream may actually consider going for this one.
I don't know if they can force it without Rolling Thunder. I feel like Radiant still will be content to fight.
Radiant's middle tower is under
Absolutely, I absolutely agree.
They're doing it.
Gonna maybe give it a go. This is risky though. I think they see how far pushed up Raven is. They're like, okay, Raven's not nearby. Maybe we go for this, but the second they get scattered, they're like, okay, no, never mind. So, only if they could have snuck it were they interested.
Smoke.
Dumb.
middle tower
Yeah.
is under attack.
Only catch them by surprise. They've
territory.
got a good
They're
ward
seeing
here.
their dream under the ward, instant with a follow-up and the control and the burst. Oh, it's all there. They take away the Ursa with no regards for life, and now Yokan swung down a couple of clicks. All they need is Raven gets the double, and this might just be able to open up both objectives. Raven's going for the towers, and you got Armel into the pit.
Interesting, only two heroes pushing here.
I don't know. They're going to try and blow up the eye first. Polison's doing a decent amount of damage with the help of the Spirit Vessel. A couple more right clicks and Mizu will provide that. But Tiny's a
Raven?
different beast.
He's alone. His
He
teammates
does
are
have
coming.
jabs now, blinking in the middle. Beautiful snowball timing as Raven. He can stand his ground. The air from the tag team, along with Genuel stepping in, means that, yeah, Raven, like we said, it's a different beast. Not the eye that you can easily go through.
Yeah.
Dire's
Little bit sloppy from Fnatic. Going for a 2-hero high ground push while 3 heroes were at Roshan. The second they got going on, I think Jabs and Januel realized, oh crap, we gotta go help him out. Armel's like, nah. Just, I'm a Roshan, I'm a Husker. But it just didn't feel like Fnatic were on the same page. Either way, outcome is great. Fnatic have Aegis. They get a shard as well. And they're going to be poised for a really scary high ground push now. Tiny breaks buildings fast. You've got this Husker who can kind of frontline with an AC and Aegis now. Worried for NGX's ability to defend, but we saw what they did top. They can get on. They need to get on top of this IO. They need to stop all these saves coming out. The Omni, IO, Tusk, 3 heroes that have defensive tools that are tricky to deal with.
Even if you get on top of the supports, Armel having this Ag shard seems very difficult to kill now with being able to use Inner Fire through Disable and even just a little heal that it can give you.
Yeah. It's very, very helpful. Like, he can, yeah, exactly. If he's getting chain summoned by the Pingalier or something, he's got that ability to just boost himself back up.
Cool, he's got a sliver now. Awesome.
Ah, lovely.
And this is all pre-25, because Burning Spear's pure damage is Husker now scales. That is without a doubt he scales with this pure damage talent. So, yeah, if you can't deal with him now, good luck doing it at level 25.
Looks like they want to go to the high ground here.
Awesome start. The instant blink forward, Januel providing all the space they would need to help the Huskar. Raven's gonna have some time as well to jump Mizu. They need the Pain Glyph for the control, but this is also allowing In Your Dream. Try and stack up the Fury swipes. That's Rolling Thunder now on cooldown, and Fnatic really haven't expended much. In fact, objectives now claimed. Jabs a deep dive, but he's got the argument, so a kick back into the grasping hands of the Huskar, but he's able to reposition.
This is the problem with Aegis. They can't overcommit on Armel. They tried to take the Aegis without putting too many spells.
Raven, they're just splitting the map. TJ, he relocated down.
Gets him out. Yep, the IO Tiny not playing with Aegis and no without BKB. They want to be a little bit careful not to be the ones getting jumped. They'd much rather it be Armel, but looks like Tiny's interested in some split push down bottom anyways.
They're trying to bait Armo to go in the tier 4 tower range. I don't think he cares. I think Armo, I reckon he's fine for it.
Yeah, he welcomes the challenge.
Been Alacrity's not gonna have too much mana now, but an instant snowball save once again. But look at the space. They've used all the breathing room to take away the first life. Now the snowball deeper inside the base. They'll get one. They'll find a second. Okay, crafty fight from Nigma.SEA. Taking the front simultaneously, but they're on top of Armel. They're able to stand his ground with the help of the inner fire. Ravens with the backstabber, blink in straight underneath the barracks. A couple of swipes, claims away the life of the support, and now In Your Dream without any backup. Yeah, he doesn't have the damage of the tank to go through the Huskar. He doesn't have a buyback as well. They even toss him deeper inside Nigma.SEA's territory. He doesn't care about any space, any help as Nigma.SEA. They're just going to have to try and hope that Huskar doesn't want to even dive the fountain. This Raven's falling pretty low. Got the opportunity to pop the BKB, and now with the life still coming out, all the health they would desire. Now it's time to just fountain farm as Raven ends the game with an ultra kill and Fnatic. A clean 2-0 victory.
Very, very good stuff. No rampage for you. The Thurn goes down. Great Huskar pick. I love the draft, the strat. It's good to see some kind of innovation. You know, it feels like a lot of teams are just going for the tried and tested cores, the, standard openers, your typical carries and mids, your spirits and whatnot. But Fnatic bust out something, out of the cheese book. They bring out the Huskar with IO plus Omni Knight. It was, I don't want to see it every game, but it was good to see it. Good to see it once, and good to see it from a team like Fnatic, who really seem to be pushing themselves to maybe experiment and try some new picks and new heroes on the new patch.
Yeah, and there could always be a question as well for Nigma.SEA. You are down one game, you've only won one series, and you're trying to test out attackers. And we see it might not be a pocket strat that they look to pull out in another game, because unfortunately for them, it wasn't able to work. They dropped the series 2-0. And well, Fnatic now, we've been speaking a lot about the inconsistency, but they are still 3-0. The fact that they're still flawless through all their series is giving them a lot of confidence. We're seeing them to continue to grow as a team with this kind of fast-paced Dota mentality that they currently have. And, well, they're looking really solid, Parker.
Yeah, I think teams like Fnatic, they're going to be happy they have this schedule where they played, some of the weaker teams towards the start of the tour, because it's given them time to learn the patch, improve as a team, because they were shaky week 1. They remind me a bit of T1, who also started off slow. Unfortunately for T1, they ran into a pretty damn scary Polaris team and lost a series. But I think some of these teams were like, your elite teams, they'll have slow starts, but because of the format, by week 4, 5, 6, they're going to be in top form. And that's kind of where I think Fnatic's headed for this tour.
For Fnatic, a solid 2-0 victory off the back of a Huskar draft is going to net them their 3rd series victory. And we're going to send this over to break, and when we come back, we'll have the panel break down this whole series.
Fnatic taking this series with a nice clean 2-0, but this game number 2, we see some new heroes come out. I don't know that you had a very particular way that you wanted to describe the Huskar strat for you.
I mean, it was just a cheese strat. It's like Huskar with Omni, with the IO. They even had Tusk for the save. You just keep your Huskar alive. He's versus Storm mid. I think killed him twice in the mid lane. And then just walk it down the lanes. Yeah.
That was some sad tilt. Like, Storm really just squared up to Huskar and said, let's
First
go,
blood,
baby.
yeah.
Let's go, baby. Let's see who wins. It's like, you don't win that, bro. Come on.
The other new hero that we saw was the Techies, and I want to get some opinions from you guys about that.
I was really excited for a moment when he had Shard and he yeeted himself onto someone. I said, "Yo, Fear, look!" See how that he put the 2 red mines down? I was like ready for this massive explosion. Except Io was like limmered and it just did 0 damage. I said, "I promise it's good, Fear. I promise."
You were not accurate at all. It was not that good. That game.
I mean, he was behind. It's hard.
It is.
I saw the potential, but it didn't look that good.
Did you see much potential at all for Nigma Galaxy this game?
No,
Or
I
even
mean,
series?
they had a rough series, to
Yeah.
be honest with you. It was pretty rough.
Mhm.
Like, when you're in a position where I'm just like, you have to pick a Nigma or a Viper to like win the game as your like carry, you're not in a great spot. I just feel like they got cheesed so hard. Their lanes are so very difficult. Every single lane, I think, lost for them. And you can't have that when you're playing versus a Huskar with like Io and Omni. They're just going to walk it down after getting Aegis, and you're going to lose. And that's exactly what happened.
Where were they meant to fix their draft, Fear, do you think? Like, where did it all go wrong for them?
Picking the Grim first.
I think the Grim first pick has not been working out for them. They did the same opener, the Grim Storm. I think they just need to rethink their opener, because that opener led to 2 very lopsided games. So maybe just revisit the draft and be like, maybe this opener isn't as good as we thought, and try something new.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely all about trial and error, even though, you know, every series does matter. For Fnatic, they played this fast-paced game, right? This fast-paced tempo, it's probably the strongest we've seen them. Is this just that they're now used to each other, an easier team that they're up against, or why do you think it works so well?
I mean, they are still like full of actual good players. You know, it feels bad when you see them drop games to weaker teams, but
they didn't today.
they
so.
didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, like this is improvement. This is good. The same as T1. We're seeing both these teams getting stronger as the DPC progresses. Fnatic, I would say, have played against the kind of weakest teams now.
Yeah.
It's kind of only gonna get harder for them. So hopefully now they're feeling warmed up and better about themselves. Because yeah, otherwise things could get ugly.
Is this series a confidence boost for them coming into the harder teams?
Hope so.
Probably they're undefeated
Like for you guys,
now.
right? Feeling it as well for them when you watch them and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they looked really, really good this series.
Yeah, they look a lot better, and so far they're undefeated. Their first 2 series, they had a loss, right? But they still won the series. They move on to the next game, 2-0. Of course, they're gonna play harder teams now, but they should know now that, like, you know, they got a 2-0, they're looking better, and they're probably feeling better as a team now, and they'll probably have better results. Well,
Yeah.
hopefully.
Oh,
If
you
you're a
say-
Fnatic fan, at least. Depends who you're
you
rooting
say like
for.
better results, but they haven't lost a series yet.
Yeah, but they dropped games.
Yeah, but they dropped games. So to them, they probably want the 2-0s, right?
Well, we actually have the chance to ask them as we have grabbed Jabs for the winners interview. Jabs, thank you so much for joining us. I'm just gonna ask the real question. What is in your background?
Oh.
We cannot hear you.
Oh,
So we're
no.
gonna
Oh,
fix
no.
that issue.
Oh no.
But I'm excited to hear what's going on in the background.
That's like Queen of Pain or something.
No, it's like a World of Warcraft thing, I think.
Yeah, I guess.
I can read lips.
Yep.
He's saying that he loves what you're wearing, Nat. And
He's-
Fear, he called you old.
Yeah, well, he's not wrong.
Jabs, we are working on it. We're just having some technical issues at the moment. So sit tight. I'll let you know when we can hear you. But until then, we're just going to talk about how bad you were. Okay, he's gone. There's just absolutely no way I could sit here and genuinely roast him. But for you guys, a standout player over the series for Fnatic?
Raven was really good.
Yeah?
Big boy.
Anything specific?
No.
Just
That's all.
consistent?
I'll give you nothing.
Oh, you're just going to give me a name?
Yeah.
Fia? Any more insight?
DJ did really well, I think. His Monkey King is very impressive, and he did a really solid job on IO.
Sure, I want to change my. I want to change
jump-
my reply to.
Just
Okay.
jump on the
Yeah.
bandwagon.
All right. What is it? What is it, Nashi?
Oh yeah, no, he was just like a really good Monkey King, and
She's just,
yeah, his IO.
it's
was
like a
pretty
parrot
good.
over here.
There's so many things I could say to roast her right now, but I'm just not going to do it. Yes. She just idolizes you, Fia. She's
Mhm.
so ready to jump on board with whatever you say.
Hmm?
Mhm.
His original thought.
Yeah, who needs an original thought when you can just repeat whatever Fia says?
He won TI, guys.
Is that why you do it?
Yeah. Um,
I don't really have any more questions
Oh.
I have about the game or the series. I don't know if you guys want to make any more comments on it before we do jump into the interview.
On the
mean,
game?
the sooner we can
Mm.
bring it back, the better. Love
Yeah.
jabs.
We are working on it.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, we just have a lot of questions for him. We're gonna try
Okay.
again right now, I think.
Yes, we are. We are going to try again. Hopefully we can hear him.
Oh, never mind.
Oh,
Oh,
Jabs,
there
we
we
can
go.
hear you. So I'm going to
Oh.
ask that question again. What is in your background?
I'm in the LAN cafe at the moment, so like it's like a model, I think, behind.
All right, all right.
I guess it's a Queen of Pain or something.
That's what I said.
Night Elf. Okay. From Night Elf, I think.
All right, awesome. Thank you. I just had to ask. We see it on your player camera. But how are you feeling after that series? Do you feel that Fnatic is really improving?
I think we are improving a lot as a team, like compared to the season 1. But like on both games, we could have like closed the game really early one, and then like something happened, like some mistake. That's why like the game took kind of long.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. I mean, I'll ask a question about the last game there. So you busted out the IO Omni Huskar strategy. Did you think there's anything that they could have last picked to beat your draft in the last game?
I think no. Like, feel like it's hard for them to like last pick to beat us on the last game, cause I think we already beated them.
Mm-hmm.
I love playing offlane and I love playing kind of weirder heroes. I've loved seeing your Tusk like twice now. Is it something you guys have scrimmed with, or is it just like you just love playing it? Is there any other weird offlaners we're gonna see?
I think probably we'll like, just see more, cause like me and DJ kind of like have like a lot of hero pools. That's why like we can flex a lot. This is good for our team.
I also want to know, this is the first time we're seeing techies in SEA. What are your thoughts on it? Do you think it could have worked?
I think it could have worked on like other position, but not post 5.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe mid or post 4 or like off lane more. Cause this hero like I think it's needed like item.
Would we ever see Fnatic potentially pick it up?
Maybe.
I look
Maybe.
forward to it. Thank you so much for joining us for the interview, Jabs, and congratulations again.
Thank you. Thank you.
The wave. I like this. I like the maybes. I
Oh,
like
he
that.
waved?
I
You
like
didn't
the idea.
see it?
I
They brought
didn't
him
see it.
back.
I immediately look at you
I
guys,
will-
just
it's-
assuming
it's
none of
okay.
the players are ever going
I'll
to wave.
replicate it for you.
Whoa, that's a pretty good wave.
You're
Steady wave.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. I was going to talk about techies, but it doesn't matter because I want to have a look at the Div 1 standings after our 2 Division 1 series today. It's putting Fnatic all the way up there, undefeated, 3-0, looking great. Do you think you ever would have seen them at the top of the table and Execration at the bottom?
For now, yeah. I mean, the T1 have played one more series than them, right? So
Mm-hmm.
they're basically kind
And
of
SMG.
tied. Yeah, sorry, and SMG. Oh, there's a lot of threes.
There's a lot of threes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's hard to say that they're at the top. Technically, they're kind of the same as those two.
Mm-hmm. True. For you, Fia, anyone that you're surprised by they're sitting? Maybe some more games?
Surprised by their sitting.
Yeah. Even like the losses.
I'm not. These fall pretty much in line with what I would have expected if you would have showed me before any team played. The only thing I'm a little surprised is Boom's one loss, but we all know where that came from.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, we might see them. I guess they don't have enough games. They'd be tied up there at the top 2 most likely. So this is about right. It's gonna be really come down to watching these like Fnatic, T1, SMG, Boom play each other. Those are gonna be like the hype matches now.
Yeah, well, the other thing is that because it's Saturday, it's the end of our week 3, which means we are halfway through the DPC. So there is still a lot of potential for things to change up. Some teams having played more series than the others. But end of the week, you know what that means?
MVPs.
MVP!
That's right.
They banned me from Yopaj.
We get to talk about our most valuable players. And you can see down there isn't any Yopaj because Yopaj won last week. So Sheep was not allowed to nominate him.
Dude, this time I got Gabby!
Yeah, we got Gabby, we got Tim's, we got Armel and Arfood. They're the 4 players that you guys can vote on. If you head over to SEA DPC League on Twitter, you can vote for them. So what do you...
I'm patting his head. I'm patting his little head. Good job, Gabby. You're
That-
the best
that's
carry
my
out there.
Tim's. You know, you can't pat his head.
Don't
He's
Oh.
mine.
pat Tim's.
I gotta go like all the way over there for
Go
Arfood.
do it. Do it now. Go. This
I never want to do that again.
I will not be partaking in this.
Yeah, I never want to do that again.
Killjoy fair.
But anyway, they are the four players that you
Thank
guys
you,
can
thank
vote on. And yeah, so if you're a big fan of them, I'd suggest going to do it. Or maybe you just really don't like one of the other players and just don't want them to win, so you can vote not for them.
It's a very spiteful thing to do.
I would do that. That kind of sounds like
Exactly why I would say it. Sheep would do it, so I figured maybe some other Dota players would do it. But that is going to be it from us for week 3. I will hope to see you all around for week number 4 where we get some more Southeast Asia action.